Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I made it to you on a Friday. Did you miss me yesterday? You could be honest. Oh, my goodness. Hello and welcome here on a, what we got going on? Okay, finally got this done. Anyway, it's Friday. Hello. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it today because I had some stuff going on today too, but I decided I have a little bit of time here in the morning. So, let me pop on early. It's early. Usually I'm not on until like a good 2, 3, sometimes in the afternoon, but I'm here nice and early. Well, it depends on when you're watching it. It might not be, early for you now. I always kind of like say that because, it's out here for you to see whenever it's convenient for you. But right now it's like before noon on the East Coast on Friday. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pete Palma. I am the host of Operation Status Quo. Thank you so much for being here with me today. This is Operation Status Quo, the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. And today is, today is the 10th of November in the good year 2023. And today's program is entitled No Explanation Necessary. I want to get into the topic a little bit of, I mentioned this a little bit earlier in the week from something else I was talking about in regard to like explaining yourself, like, you meet people and you talk and stuff, Anyway, I'm going to get into the whole thing, but before I start, I have to give a shout out to our friend Happy Bob. The last episode of the show, Ode to Happy Bob, which I did the other day, where I went after my trolling friend a little bit on the show, and I have to say he did respond. He did respond back, and I'm going to, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't going to do this, but I'm going to pull this up because I have to eat crow. I do have to eat crow just a little bit because I went on that whole tirade about Bob and his belly. And, back in the day, Bob did have quite the belly. But let me show you. I'm going to show you a picture because he sent this to me through my Operation Status Quo Facebook page. He went over there and he said, "What belly?" And he sent me a picture. Let me go over here. Let's see where I got to go. I got to go over here. I got to switch this here. I'm sure he won't mind because he put this publicly anyway. And he should be proud. Quite honestly, he should be proud of himself. I sent him a message back. I was so happy for him. Let's see if I can pull this up real quickly here and go to the comments. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pull this picture up. I'm gonna do it with the close cam. This way I don't have to stick the phone over here. So it is a Friday and we haven't broke out the close cam in a while. And it's close cam time here on a Friday on Operation Status Quo. Yo. All right. Anyway, so let's be serious here. Look at Bob. This is Happy Bob. Look how good this guy looks. There's no belly. Look at that smile. What a nice guy, Bob. Happy Bob. This is for you, my friend. I'm so proud of you. The guy really had, a hell of a look at this guy. He looks great, right? So, we have to be that way here on Operation Status Quo. Oh, I got the little applause. We want the big applause. You got to be that way here on Operation Status Quo. I know it's a little blurry trying to get it in there, but you get the gist. You get the gist. All right. We're back with the close cam. And Bob, I'm so happy for you, seriously. And I really respect the fact that you took the time to care for yourself. And, it makes whatever changes you made. Bob has some grandchildren. I guess I saw some pictures of that with him. And it's great. You want to be healthy and vibrant so you can enjoy your family. And if you want to continue, to troll me, Bob, absolutely no problem. You know what I mean? I give you credit. Since you're a man of conviction and taking care of business, you know what I'm saying? We can have a little fun back and forth. But one more round of applause for Happy Bob. Damn! I got to give him credit. What a good sport. Not only did he deal with me busting his balls, but he was able to come back and say, hey, dummy, look how thin I am. So I don't know, maybe he took the picture with some kind of special mirror or anything, but it looks pretty legit to me, and I'm happy for Happy Bob out there. So all right, Happy Bob had a happy birthday the other day, and now he's thin again. And matter of fact, I think he just messaged me. Let's see here. I'm gonna message him. Let's see if he'll pop on. I'm on YouTube Live right now and shared how good you look. Let's see. Let's say pop on live and say hello. Let's see if he sees it. Let's see if he sees it while I'm here. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to continue on with the show. It's nice to have interaction. Maybe that's what should be my show. I'll sit here and text message with people. Let's see. What do you want to tell me though? Because I guess I was busting his balls. I'm going to say, and I agree with. I agree with you. Yeah. So anyway, All right, let's go. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about explaining yourself, and I got into this a little bit too because I realized this about myself. It's the craziest thing, and that's kind of really what brought it up. And we all have insecurities at times where we feel, we got to justify something or explain something, right? You know what I mean? So, and I always tell people, I say this on this show all the time. You don't have to explain nothing. Just do what you want to do. You don't have to answer to anybody. But I found myself in a bit of a quandary yesterday, and I realized the behavior how I was, presenting myself. And it's an interesting dynamic, because prior to everything that happened with COVID, I felt very comfortable socially. I mean, I still do feel comfortable socially. I meet people well, I speak with people well and everything else. But the way the dynamics of the world changed since, we've gone through the pandemic time, I find it, as everybody's come back, first of all, me personally, I don't think I've ever really gotten back out into the world, because we went from lockdown to I've just been working from home ever since, basically, right? So, and I moved on top of it. So I took myself completely out of, my normal element, and then, got a totally different job and everything else. And, anyway, as I get back out into things and I try to, as I try to get back out into the world and do different things and hey, what do I want to learn now? How do I want to take my life in this other direction? And I'm not sure what the problem is. I don't know what it is. I don't feel engaged. I mean, I feel engaged with this. I really love this. They're doing the YouTube thing. I love my little routine in a sense of the things I do for self-care, my exercise, my vegetable juice, and that kind of stuff. But as far as getting back out into a day-to-day, it's difficult. So I'm with as ladies and gentlemen, I'm a licensed realtor here in Florida. So please feel free if I can help you in any way to contact me. My information is in the description box below. But also on top of it, I went to a new, I switched offices for where my license is, and I met with the new people yesterday, and it was nice. It was nice to meet them. They were nice. It was fine. But I just realized, and this is where I'm getting to about the over-explaining, because, they're talking about the nature of the business and all stuff I've heard before of if you really want to get out there and make all these sales, you got to be calling people and this, that, and the other, all the typical, not typical in a bad way, but, the normal tricks of the trade, or just the, sales is sales and business is business, right? And I have a very difficult time with that. And then I realize, I'm talking to these people and, and I start explaining that, I'm trying to explain that, I know I understand, but imagine this, right? This is why I'm saying it. Imagine this. So, I'm sitting there, I start going well, it's I understand all, and I agree with everything you're saying. It's just that I have this kind of thought process of everybody's getting robbed by a system that's designed to, keep you down. No one should even have to be paying for houses. I mean, right. I mean, I'm just trying to say, if you go out in a normal business world and, there's no room for this level of I don't want to say it's spirituality or what. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is anymore. I get confused myself, because it's not that I don't want to participate in the world, but it's just it's not. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's I can't help it. I see so much more than our day-to-day life, and so what happens if I decide I'm interested in the real estate, right? I'm interested to work with people, help people. There's people out there they have to buy or sell a house, right? So, if I can be there as to help them and make sure everything's documented properly, that they're being well informed about the property that they're purchasing or getting the best value for the property they're selling, and they understand all the parameters around within. I'm fine with that. I just don't like the idea of the hustle of chasing people down. I mean, it's just an interesting dynamic to me. And then the people that are really good at it, it's like anything else. If you're good at it, you do it all the time, right? And it becomes your whole day. It becomes a way of life. And I'm not putting that down either. I'm just thinking, like, I'm trying to realize, and I'm speaking myself, like, because I realized, and I felt like some of the nervous energy within me as, as they're saying, and then I'm trying to, explain how I feel and thinking about how I feel while they're talking. And they didn't do anything wrong. And maybe honestly, I just feel like, not to say it's not for me, like I'm interested, but like, then I say, oh, maybe I feel that way because it's not for me or something, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's not for me. It's just like our business world is not for me. Like, I'm down with anything. I just don't like the confines, of our system. And I've seen so much. And I mean, especially the way everything has happened through with COVID and, just the way the world is out of control, topsy-turvy now, anyway. So anyway, it's just, and to me, like, and I say, why am I, like, I shouldn't, like, I have to realize this. I'm really speaking from myself, because I'm passing this on, this information, like, for you guys too, because we all, feel like we want to fit in with groups, or we want to fit in a situation. We want to be, seen a certain way, or, respected, or, you just want to feel, like you're part of humanity in some kind of way. And then, like, you go on explaining yourself, and, and again, this is what I talked about when I talked about it before, basically that, myself, like, when I meet people, I don't know, like, just part of me that wants to, not that I have to, like, obviously no one's going to know who you are 100%, as soon as you meet them, right? But for whatever reason, I guess because the division in today's world, like, I always want to come at everything with this, like, higher perspective of, like, our world is this, and, let's look beyond that, and, the system is this, and this system is that, and a lot of people aren't there, like, they're still, like, that's what I realized, like, I mean, down here, especially in Florida, things never really shut down the way they did in other places, so, people just kept on going, and the world's kind of, the same, and that's what I'm saying about, even, like, when I was saying about, it becomes your whole life, and, when you get involved with something, especially, something that's business oriented, like, I don't mind, like again, like with this, like, if this show was able to grow, it started to grow, like, I put maybe more time and actually did some edited videos as well as these, live streams, and, kind of worked on it. Like, I'm not adverse to putting time in to anything. What I am adverse to is, like, giving your life away to run around, at others, the beck and call of others, 24/7. I think now I'm speaking it out. Like, I think that's really the part, that I realized, like, that gets me, because, there were occasions where I was working with a couple of clients. And of course, if I had a client and they call and they want to talk at different times, or they want to go see a house, I mean, obviously, you're going to do that. I'm not going to say, oh, well, no, it's time for me to make my vegetable juice. Why don't we schedule that for, I mean, what I'm saying? Like, obviously, be like, yeah, you want to go see the house? Let's go see the house, but that's what it becomes. If you do that with one, and then all of a sudden you have 6, 7, 8 people that you're working with, and, it becomes like, I don't know, just like, it's everything in our world. It's not the real estate. It's not, any in particular business, right? It's the state of our world that, if you start going that way, you get, like, sucked in. Like, even, I have a family member that's had his own business his whole life, and, it's 14 hours a day of making sure your business is running right, and even when I used to DJ weddings and such back in the day, and there was a husband and wife couple, they still own that business, and, I mean, they were all the time. They were, it's all day long, and then they got to sit and worry even on a weekend, the DJs are out doing parties. What if one of the DJs doesn't show up, or God forbid got in an accident on the way there, or showed up and now his equipment doesn't work, or, that now the business owner could be sitting at home out on a Saturday night or something, and he's got to go, right? I mean, it's just, I mean, I know this is just the way the world is, but, I see it from a bigger perspective. Like, we shouldn't put that much pressure on ourselves in that regard, like, all the time, that we're just running. There's, of course, there's satisfaction in taking care of things. But I guess I'm getting a little off topic here, as I usually do, because I'm kind of speaking from my perspective. It was an interesting dynamic yesterday of having this conversation and realizing that I was trying to, explain myself. And I'm thinking, why am I explaining myself? But so for you guys out there, I want to go through this quickly, just some tips on why and how to avoid, explaining yourself so much, because I think it's really about, and this is what I'm realizing too about myself. Like, like I said, after as the world has changed through these since 2020, I feel a different way of approaching people, maybe because I'm getting older too. And, it's just a whole, like I've seen a lot of stuff and like, I don't want to play certain little games anymore. I want to go to a different, I'm trying to find my way. We're all trying to find our way. Right. So, so I would encourage you out there as a listener, viewer, thanks for being here. I always love you. Please, if you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel. I appreciate that. But yeah, and sorry, I hate saying all the time. I can't stand when I hear myself do that. No, I did it again. So, I would encourage people not, you don't feel like you have to explain yourself. Be confident in who you are and what you want, and and just be real with yourself and what you want, and just move forward in that direction. Like, and I'm saying that to myself too. That's why I'm trying to really, ascertain in a sense of, do I, what is it exactly that I want to do? If I feel a certain way that I have to explain myself in certain situations, and maybe those situations, don't resonate 100% with me, that it's the right, space for me to put, extra attention. I don't know what to say. Anyway, it's just the way I am with business and work and stuff. I don't know. I just want to, like I always say, I just want to float around and look at clouds. So I don't know. But anyway, some reasons that we do over-explain ourselves, of course, there's the fear of judgment, right? You don't want to be judged. There's the need for validation. I understand that too. Sometimes, people may feel to explain themselves because they're looking for, approval in certain regards from others. You want to feel like you're liked and like, they're catching your vibe, as it were. A lack of self-confidence, over-explain yourself. And I'll say that in some regards, like sometimes if you question yourself, obviously, you're not standing strong in your conviction, you will probably over-explain, right? So let's see here. Oh, I got a potential spam call coming in. We're going to get rid of that. And need for understanding. People may feel the need to explain themselves to help understand their perspective or actions. Like, and the truth is, like, you have to realize that ultimately, no one's really going to ever understand you in a sense, right? I mean, people generally kind of hear what they want to hear. We spend a lot of time trying to explain ourselves, but really people are only picking out the parts that they want. Like even, again, these people were great yesterday, but like I'm trying to explain these more, esoteric, metaphysical, I don't know, I'm saying all this like, crap like I always do. And I'm just laughing to myself. And I'm like, these people are like doing business all day long. They just want to know what their action items are. And they just want to move on to their thing. They want to welcome me in. We're here to help, and all that kind of thing. But, and I'm trying to, make the world, we're all going to like sing Kumbaya together or something. So pressure to conform is another reason why people may feel the need to explain themselves in societal expectations or norms. So, so those are some of the reasons why you might tend to explain yourself. But and quickly here, I'll go through because we don't want to beat a dead horse with all this. I mean, I basically kind of said what I wanted to say overall, but don't just some ways to stop explaining yourself if you find that you do. Because, again, a lot of times I don't, but there are times that I do. And I noticed recently a few times, where I feel like I'm explaining myself a little bit. I'm like, why do I meet people? What do I got to explain? Like, what do I got to explain, like who I am or why I did something? Like, what's the problem? Like, and I guess, we all go through phases where we feel a little more, secure in certain decisions that we've made or where we are. And sometimes a little bit less, and as the world continues to go. And I say it to you guys, I'm honest here on the show all the time. I've told people before when they want to get in contact with me, I say, if you want to know what's going on in my life, just watch my show. My life, you'll know what's happening. Because I am pretty honest. I'm not afraid to express that I have vulnerability as well. And, and as things are moving forward, I mean, I don't know how deeply you guys out there feel about like what you're looking for as you move forward in your future, what you really want the basis, of your life to be. But, maybe I overthink it, maybe I do. And that's part of my personality. But I have this desire to, really be respectful of the knowledge and responsible, with the knowledge I've achieved over the years of experience and things I've learned and who I've become. And I really want to put it to best practice to, sustain a living and also, be a contributor to society. And unfortunately, I mean, that's the quandary that I find myself in, because, what's out out there in the world, like me doing this, I love this. I would do this like 2 hours a day, or, multiple shows a day, or, if it was like viable in a sense, maybe one day it will become viable. I'm saying I'm trying to find the space where I can, put what I feel is my best features forward. And I'm gonna give a round of applause because I know what you're saying already. This show is your best features? Are you kidding me? That's what you got to offer? Hey, where's my AO? Oh, here we go. I got the AO over here. AO. All right. But yeah, I want to put and I think we all should, be realistic of ourselves and try to put our best way forward. It's just the whole damn money thing in this like slave system that we live in. So anyway, don't feel the need to justify your actions, right? You just want to do when you know what you're. When you are aware and in tune with yourself, you follow your path. You don't have to justify your actions, right? Because you're confident and you're just doing what you feel is best for you. Understand that you don't owe anyone an explanation. I say that all the time. You don't owe anybody an explanation for your actions, thoughts, or feelings. You are not responsible for other people's reactions or understanding. So, and of course, like I say, it's always about being respectful and courteous. That's the most important thing, being mindful. Like even in my conversation yesterday with these people, I know I want to say a lot of things. I'm thinking a lot of things, and I really try to slow myself down and not talk too much, because I know once I start, just like I do here on the show, it's the same thing, right? I mean, it's the same, really, literally is the same thing. Like I'll start talking, and then then that leads me to kind of another thought, which kind of leads me to like another thought. And I started here, and then like we wound up all the way over there somewhere, and we never got finished with here. And I mean, it just is what it is with that. Be confident in your choices, right? That's what I said before too. I mean, it's about being confident. You're confident. You won't feel the need to over-explain yourself. Know that you don't have to please everyone, which is important. There's a lot of people out there. Of course, people pleasers. You're rather make sure that someone is happy with what you did, or as opposed to you really doing something because it came from your heart. Realize that not everyone will understand. I think that's an important thing too. Where we're all different. We're all embodiments. Having a life with different paths, different experiences and upbringings and such, and not everyone's going to be able to relate to what you say. Be like a computer scientist, going into like some tribal group somewhere in the jungle, and want to explain how to, initiate software or write computer algorithms or something like that. And then the guy goes, booga, 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 with a bone. They have like the bone in their hair or through their nose or whatever. And they go, booga, booga, booga. And you got the guy trying to explain how to write a computer algorithm. And he's holding a spear at his neck going, booga, booga. Anyway, so just realize that not everyone will understand, and be okay with being misunderstood. I mean, that's, listen, I understand that. And this show again is a perfect example. It is okay to be okay with being misunderstood. Except that people will have their opinions. And I was kind of saying that earlier, people are only going to hear what they want to hear in a certain way, right? Especially if they're not like, I'm a person that is very open to listening to others. Even like going back to Happy Bob. Happy Bob was busting my balls a little bit, and I got my back up, a couple of years ago. Now to that he reached back out to, whatever, he reached out, and I wound up doing a show about him, and then, he responds back, and like it becomes friendly in a sense. And that's why I appreciate that he was that way. And, it's a reminder, that people will have their opinions, and myself too. Like I am somebody that gets worked up. I'm very passionate about, our individual sovereignty, our freedom, our true freedom, and at the end of the day, I mean, our world is what it is. So it's great for me to have my thoughts and beliefs and try to push ideas in that direction. But, other people are not always going to be there, and it just is what it is. So, and people are entitled to their opinions, and they're on their own journey and their own path, and they have to learn what they have to learn. And you have to learn to trust yourself, right? Learn to trust yourself. If you believe in yourself, you trust yourself, you won't have that. You won't be over-explaining. And last couple here, we have overthinking. Stop overthinking. I mentioned that too. Like you start getting into that, that mind, spinning and, mind chatter, so the monkey mind, whatever you want to say, and the brain just keeps going and going and going, and, you send yourself down all kinds of thought processes where if you're just focused, clear, concise, do what you want, express how you have to express, and that's it. Again, a lot of people aren't like me that want to go on and talk, the way I talk. Most people just want to say 2 words and be out the door. Unfortunately, I feel for whatever reason a need to explain every aspect of my essence, in like 20 minutes. So I don't know what the hell my problem is, but spend less time with judgmental people is the last one on the list. So, that kind of speaks for itself. If you're trying to express yourself or, explain an idea or whatever is going through your mind, and then there you are, with judgmental people, it's not going to go very well because they're judgmental, right? So, and don't judge yourself for speaking to judgmental people. Just take yourself on another path, right? So anyway, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. No explanation necessary. We don't need to explain ourselves. Basically, to sum it up, my conversation yesterday, I realized I was over-explaining in certain regard, and it really kind of triggered me to think about, well, what was the purpose of that, and and for all the things that I'm doing in life, how to use the spaces that I'm in to work best with who I really am and how that all plays out. So, it's got to be a little, like the stop overthinking part, got to be a little more hands off. So, this is like I think my show for me is like, it's like a therapy session. I just do my own therapy. I'm my own therapist. I just talk it through. I do my own therapy session live. That's what I should label it as, that, because then if people thought I was doing therapy, they probably would watch more. So they'd be like, oh, this poor soul, is trying to figure out what the hell's wrong with them, but anyway, so that's what I got for you here today, ladies and gentlemen, on Operation Status Quo. Another big thank you to Happy Bob out there. I appreciate him being a good sport about everything yesterday, and I'm really happy for him that he trimmed up and he looks really great, and I'm really happy for him because he worked his life and he's retired and he deserves to be able to live his best. So I'm glad that he's making efforts to do that. So maybe we'll have him on the show one day. You never know. Maybe he'll become like a regular participant. Wouldn't that be great? So listen, if you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. And until Monday, I got to go back over here. Until Monday, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks.